Welcome back to Baywatching, everyone! It's Season 8! Man, I don't even know where to begin. It's been so long since I started a new season and there was no Baywatch Nights bullshit going on and things were kind of normal. I mean, it's also unfortunate because this is the return of nobody's favorite, the Baywatch Rookie episode, but still. It's kind of freeing to be talking about Baywatch and Mitch isn't fighting aliens in the background. Okay, actually, one more Baywatch Nights thing for the road. I mean, this is important to know because it changed everything. In the Nights series finale, Mitch and Ryan finally declared their love for each other. At last, after 2 years of tension, they can become a couple. Perhaps Ryan can even exist on regular Baywatch outside of that one weird episode where she showed up in season 6. Just kidding. Ryan is never seen or mentioned again. Baywatch Nights was a waste of time. Also never seen again is Mitch's girlfriend on Baywatch proper, Samantha. Presumably, she heard Mitch's declaration of love for Ryan and knew she could never compete. And gone is CJ, who, you might recall, was captured by a Phantom of the Opera guy and then proposed to by Cody. Of the two events, the proposal was by far the scariest, so there's a hilarious line coming up in a few episodes that explains where she went off to. For now, though, she's just absent and unmentioned. Cody's proposal is also unmentioned, Shawnee and Eddie and Caroline and Logan style.
I'll stick by you no matter what.
Just kidding, bye forever! In addition to the loss of Samantha and CJ, Caroline is no longer a regular on Baywatch. However, she will appear in a handful of episodes later in the season, so prepare your eardrums. On top of that, Neely will be absent for the first 8 episodes of the season, as Gena Nolin was off having a baby. So, when Pamela Anderson left the show, Baywatch was in a panic. They had been trying for years to create the next Pamela to, teach her a lesson and put her in her place or something, and not been very successful.
The blonde. CJ. No, not CJ, the other one.
But maybe, just maybe, if they added, say, 300 new people to the show, eventually one of them would break out as the next Pam. So in Season 8, we have a whole slew of new characters, so much so that they have a hard time fitting them all into their 2-minute intro. 2 of them have to share a shot with Jordan. If you're guessing that these characters ended up being deeply explored, with strong personalities and rich, complex backstories, I don't know what show you're watching. If, however, you guessed that they had even less time than usual to devote to frivolous things like character traits, then you can see the problem with having a cast of 4,000 people. Baywatch had been really struggling at this point, and this casting bloat turned out to be disastrous. So after this season, of the 13 main characters, 8 people were dropped from the cast, including all but 2 of the new additions in what became known as the Baywatch Bloodbath. So you'll have to forgive me if I don't have much to say about some of these people, as we won't be getting to know them that well. First, we have the most obvious Pamela replacement of all, Carmen Electra as Lonnie McKenzie. Carmen Electra actually first entered the Baywatch universe as a different character in an episode of Baywatch Nights, where she kind of showed half a boob because on Nights, people wear clothes.
On Baywatch Nights, we wear clothes.
Lonnie is basically Carmen Electra if she were a lifeguard and half Hawaiian. Yes, Carmen Electra can appropriate any culture, as the hit film Dirty Love proved. Lonnie is only in this one season of Baywatch, but holy shit, does Carmen Electra like to act like she was the face of the entire show. Look, I mean, she was fine, I guess. It just kind of annoys me. Then we have Kelly Packard as April Gaminsky, the only female cast member to make it past this season. Kelly Packard was previously on Baywatch in 6 different episodes, both as an extra and 2 different characters. And she even made it into the intro for seasons 4, 5, and 6. April is the Stephanie replacement, as evidenced by the fact they gave Kelly Packard Alexandra Paul's old swimsuit to wear. Then there's Michael Bergin as J.D. Darius, who somehow lasts 4 seasons despite the fact I couldn't tell you anything about him. The Baywatch wiki tells me he is super friendly. And now, the real Nothing Burgers. Angelica Bridges plays Lieutenant Taylor Walsh, who shows up in 6 episodes and has red hair. But somehow, her pointlessness is surpassed by Marliece Andrada as Skylar Bergman, who shows up in 4 episodes. Not even like 4 episodes spread around, just the first 4 and then nothing. I must remind you, she is in the opening credits the entire season. There's an international issue of Playboy that calls Marliece Andrada Pamela number 2, and you know what? Yeah, mission accomplished, Baywatch. I've already spoken much more about Skylar than her screen time amounted to, but nothing is more emblematic of the problems presented in this season. Marliece Andrada described her experience on Baywatch as basically just sitting around wondering what she was supposed to do. I think that about sums things up.
I didn't have any idea what I was doing, where I was going, what I was supposed to do, what I was supposed to wear, nothing. I just sat in my trailer and waited for someone to come and get me.
She accomplished more on the show during her singular episode as a mermaid who fell in love with Cody, and was featured in more episodes as an extra than as a main character. Incandescently inane. Baywatch is truly in its flop era at this point. Somehow, there are recurring characters fit into this already incredibly stuffed cast, but I will get to them as we go along. I gotta talk about a boring rookie episode now. It's rookie tryouts. We get little sound bites to quickly tell us about the new characters, because they ain't getting any storylines or scenes to flesh them out.
My full name is Leilani Mailoa Mackenzie. My mother's native Hawaiian.
Question, who are they actually talking to? Just like, the audience? Is this being filmed for some reason? Are we suddenly watching The Office Baywatch edition and there's some unspecified documentary being made? This question is never answered. I think these bits were just half-assedly added in last minute, either because they were short or they realized we knew fuck all about any of these people. Now I know what you're thinking. Where are all of the Ajogans and the Knights Templars? Well, we killed them all, and that's why I stopped being a supernatural PI, stupid.
Why do I want this job? Mostly for the babes, I guess.
Oh wow, who's gonna become a main character? Carmen Electra or this fut? I wonder. She's also a dancer, who cares?
I'm from Wisconsin!
And April studies fashion design, which will become important later when Baywatch wants to hawk their shoes to the audience. Skylar is currently training to become an emergency medical technician.
I'm currently training to become an emergency medical technician.
And that's the one thing you will ever find out about her. Thanks, Skylar! Also trying out to be full-time lifeguards are Manny and Hobie. Manny has been established to have turned 18 near the end of last season, which is how old you have to be become a lifeguard. Hobie, however, celebrated his 16th birthday last season, and now has suddenly aged up 2 years, and I don't know, I guess became the same age as Manny? This is consistent with Hobie's lack of consistency regarding his age, as Hobie 1 was 13 in the pilot, 12 in the very next episode. The next year he morphed into Hobie 2 and de-aged to 10. Somewhere in season 2 he was 12 again, then he was still 12 2 years later, then came back to his original age of 13 the next season, before aging pretty normally until this season when he was suddenly 18.
The thing I like most about being a lifeguard is I can work days and have nights free from my band.
His band? Wasn't the last time we saw them in like season 5? Come on now.
I'm here because my dad said it was either rookie school or summer school.
That or you're gonna be a monster hunter. Whatever you choose, it has to follow in my massive footsteps. You could never replace me, but I need someone to do the things I'm too lazy to do now.
This year, Hobie is trying out. Only I don't know if he's doing it for me or for himself.
You told him it was rookie school or summer school, so he's doing it for you.
Sometimes I wish I could go back and do it all over again.
Instead of doing 2 seasons of Baywatch Nights and signing a lifetime contract on regular Baywatch, I would not do that. Suck it in, Mitch! Suck it in! Hi! This was a real thing they did, by the way. Just sucked it in while the cameras were rolling. Hasselhoff was just more obvious about it. Amongst the interviews from the new main characters, we get some lines from recurring character Cheryl.
My name is Cheryl Whalen, and I've always looked up to lifeguards, ever since I was a little kid.
Technically, this is Cheryl's first appearance, but Ingrid Walters, who played Cheryl, was in 3 episodes during season 6 as a random other lifeguard. Until now, I thought she was playing the same character. But since Cheryl isn't a full-time lifeguard yet, I'm not sure why she'd be hanging out in the Baywatch workout room. Until the After Baywatch documentary, I had no idea Ingrid Walters was brought in because A, she was a qualified lifeguard in real life, and B, Baywatch was under fire by the NAACP and decided to just, throw in a black lifeguard in the background for a little. Great job, guys. But now she has a name and some dialogue, and will show up sporadically throughout the next couple of seasons. She's still not incredibly prominent, but to her credit, she does more than Jordan during her 2-season run. Actually, with the amount of screen time Cheryl gets in this episode, outside of Carmen Electra, she's the new addition who has by far the most to do. I kind of wonder if she was supposed to be a main character initially.
Time for the real main character, Carmen Electra!
Whoa, she's Cody's new love interest. I guess she's the next Pamela. Lonnie was Cody's dive guide in Hawaii the year before, and she informs him that she thinks being a lifeguard will be a good way to support herself until she hits the big time. But how can Carmen Electra possibly hit the big time as a dancer? This is a fool's dream.
Well, good luck today.
Thanks.
I am, unfortunately, not done introducing characters. I'm sorry. Starting now, Baywatch has a new lifeguard chief, Monica Johnson. Chief Johnson is played by Erin Gray. No, I'm not sure why she's here either. All I know is Chief Thorpe, I guess, died, and presumably, so did whoever the hell Clarence was.
So how should I make it out? Dear Chief? What's his first name?
Clarence.
Now it's Johnson, at least for 5 random episodes, which is more than main character Skylar got. Technically, one of those appearances was voice only, so maybe we'll call it a draw. Mitch's plot through this episode mirrors Hasselhoff himself, as he struggles with the fact that every year he gets older and these rookies stay the same age. Hasselhoff was only 45 at the time, but the fact Mitch has been trying to desperately cling to his youth since season 1 makes him seem much, much older. This is emphasized by the fact that his hair has begun its slow transformation into the exact style Hobie wears. Anywho, Chief Johnson wants him to become a captain, but he doesn't want to be captain because that's for old people. And why does everyone want him to do everything just because he's the perfect and handsome main character? This was a problem he grappled with in the pilot when he was promoted to lieutenant, as he didn't want to wear stuffy clothes and fancy shoes. He wanted to be on the sand. But after season 1, he just sort of wore a white polo and did the things regular lifeguards did anyway. But now, he might be stuck in the office for real. And how can he do action plots and fight monsters if he's stuck in the office? In fact, just being a lieutenant is too much, and Mitch requests to be demoted to regular lifeguard again. Even Newman in a Speedo thinks he's crazy. But as Mitch explains, he wants to feel the same passion he felt as a rookie. Yes, his midlife crisis is in full effect now. I guess after his monster PI business folded and Pebbles Runkin won all of that money betting on his failure, his true love Ryan ran away with Garner, Samantha dumped him, Teague and Griff stopped taking his calls, and all of the aliens packed up and went home, he's found himself at a crossroads. But anyway, they don't need a captain. Before Samantha, they just didn't have a captain for years, and that worked out okay for them. Speaking of Samantha, here's why she's gone.
That wasn't the reason Samantha quit. I just have to realize that maybe she was still in love with her ex-husband.
Okay, so not only did Samantha go back to her business failure ex-husband, but Mitch helped her realize she still loved him. You know, after he acted like a little jealous bitch and then sneered at her about being right when her failsband just wanted to get back together with her. Actually, he helped her realize she was still in love with him. What a great ending for her. Anyway, I love that Mitch spends this whole scene complaining and talking to the chief like a complete dick, but because he's such a damn good lifeguard and the only qualified person to be captain, she just lets him do it and has to beg at his feet. Pretty cool dynamic they got here. Anyway, they have a rookie race. Cody and Numi make a bet on how much April sucks. Douchey guy starts a fight and Mitch smacks him in the boob.
Knock it off! Knock it off! Knock it off! Knock it off! Knock it off!
Then, get this, you'll never believe it, Carmen Electra dances.
Who's ready to have their time wasted?
Oh, I hate that! Yeah, me too! This angry guy at the club is Lonnie's ex, Darren, who hasn't taken the breakup well. This is, unfortunately, the closest thing we get to a plot in this episode. Carmen Electra acts.
Let go.
So, because Lonnie and Cody, talked to each other in Hawaii, Darren assumed they were flirting and that Lonnie must have gone all the way to California to follow Cody. So he went all the way to California to follow her. This seems like a rational guy who does rational things. When he shows up at the beach the next day, this does not sit well with Lonnie's suddenly for this scene BFF Cheryl. Can't believe this all happened on Earth Day. When someone makes me angry, the best thing for me, a life-saving individual, to do is punch him a lot. Yes, that's really what happens. This guy sort of gives him lip, and Caveman Cody starts punching him. But then Darren escalates things to attempted murder? I gotta remind you, this is all happening because this guy stalked Lonnie to the mainland under the assumption she was stalking a guy she spoke to one time. Luckily, legendary hero Numi steps in to break things up, or they'd both end up floating face down in the water like lifeguard reservoir dogs.
Newman, this is the guy who's been following and harassing Lonnie! Who is this guy? How do you know him?
I don't know which part of this scene makes less sense. Cody explaining to Numi that this is the guy who's been following and harassing Lonnie, as if this was information he was previously aware of, or that Numi is informed that this guy has been following and harassing Lonnie, and then, 30 seconds later, is asking Cody who he is and how he knows him. Oh, thank God. Baywatch has gone back to its roots, and now we get a classic scene of Mitch and Hobie preparing food. Disappointed at Hobie's piss-poor performance during tryouts, Mitch says that if he's not into it, then he shouldn't bother. Once again, this directly contradicts the line where Hobie tells us that Mitch basically forced him to try out under threat of education. But Hobie explains that being a lifeguard will be difficult because he'll always be in Mitch's gigantic shadow.
It's not easy following in the footsteps of a living legend.
I mean, Mitch is an honorary samurai, so he has a point. La 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 la, I'm a telephone operator. Anyway, I guess sometime off-screen, Lonnie was kidnapped? But somehow, the audience is asked to put that thought on hold for a bit, because apparently it's more important that we find out that Manny has bad eyesight. The eye doctor is Mitch's old friend who violently hated homeless people, so I don't know if he's the best guy to take medical advice from. But regardless, Manny is disqualified from being a Baywatch lifeguard. Manny's eyesight will be the least of his worries by the end of his Baywatch run. Anyway, Mitch offers to recommend him to a shady private club that doesn't care about such things as lifeguards being able to see drowning victims, and Manny hates that kindness.
And everybody will know I'm a reject. I trained to be a county lifeguard, not some second-rate cabana boy. The beach club? Thanks for talking.
How dare you try to be nice to Manny at the risk of your job and against your lifeguard ethics? You will rue the day you tried to get Manny a job as a cabana boy. If Manny were a Baywatch lifeguard, Manny would be free to kick chairs and smash windows, and Manny would never be fired. Look at Cody. He tried to drown a guy and he didn't even get suspended. You're not Manny's real father.
Note to self, never give Manny extended lines. Well, anyway, thanks to VIP of the episode, Cheryl, Sheriff Cody is able to track down Darren so they can proceed with the most ludicrous part of this surprisingly violent episode. Enjoy! From more attempted murder to an oar fight to this guy trying to stake Cody like he's a motherfucking vampire. Baywatch, you're back! Alas, water was his one weakness. And I don't know, he died, I guess.
Whatever happened with your old boyfriend? Gonna be okay?
Hey, Lonnie, heard about you being kidnapped like a couple of hours ago. You gonna be okay?
Yeah, I bounced back really quickly.
Huh, I killed a guy.
Next time on Baywatch, more rookie school. Yay.